All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Twitter space where we're going to be discussing how to optimize your side hustle while you excel at your job. My name is Sudesh Kaka, and I'm the team leader at Sudesh International, where we help forward thinking leaders optimize profit and create impact in what they do. So, as said, today I want to tackle something that is very pertinent, something that is interesting. It might not take a lot of time, but you're about to learn something or relearn something or unlearn something. So let me tell you the objectives of this call. One is to shed the light on what actually a side hustle is, quote unquote. Is it really a side hustle or not a side hustle? And then the second is to give you an understanding of whether there is a balance or no balance in having a job and a side hustle. And then thirdly, getting to understand how you can excel at both your job and the side hustle. So those are the objectives of the call. And with that said, we'll get straight into it. So there are two kinds of people that are on this call that I think I will address. One of them is what you call the bandwagon hustler. The bandwagon hustler is someone who has a job. Okay, they are accumulating experience. Probably they joined the circle recently, so they are saving some money. They started a business without knowing very much about that business because they got in some money and then they saw everyone else starting a side hustle, starting to farm, opening up a mobile money kiosk, doing all sorts of things. And they started because the other people started at their job. And also the bandwagon hustler compromises the side hustle or the job. They are compromised on one of the two and they are losing money. So there are two categories of people on the call. There could be one that is what I've just described as a bandwagon hustler, or there could be what we call a balanced hustler. A balanced hustler is one person who has a job, they have big dreams, they've studied how business works, and they are looking for strategies and or ways to improve on what they do. So you can identify yourself in one of those two categories. If you're one of those, you're on the right call. So we'll get into it. I'll start off by giving you a couple of statistics. One, the UN United Nations Conference on Trade and Development in 2022 gave the report highlighted that Uganda has 1.1 million small enterprises. Micro means that this is an enterprise that employs less than 3 people. Okay, so you have the founder and maybe 2 other people. That's a micro enterprise. And guess what? According to the same report, 80% of the businesses in Uganda are micro, small enterprises. Think about that. 80%. That means that if you count every 10 businesses, 8 of them employ 3 people and less. Okay, so that is quite interesting. That shows you that the majority of people in Uganda in some form of business are involved in some form or shape of business. Either they are employed by the micro, small, medium enterprise, or they own the enterprise. Okay, and then the same UN report goes on to say that there are 1.8 million informal businesses run by women. Okay, and that shows you that there's actually lots of business. There's lots of business. There's lots of business in Uganda. Now, that is on the business side. Let's look at the other job side. Okay. I was reading somewhere. I think it was yesterday that On average, Uganda churns out 120,000 graduates every year. Think about it, 120 graduates every year, and only 30% of those are absorbed in the job market. Okay, so we're looking at a situation where the majority of the people in the country are in business, i.e., 80% either employed or owning a business. And also, you have a majority that you have a minority that are getting jobs. So this is what happens, and this is why these statistics actually make sense. Okay, so if you cannot run away from the fact that some of these people that are employed by the micro enterprises and do not get the money that they need to get. So what do? They start the business on the side. Okay, so that is why this topic is very important. Now, a couple of things that I want to cover. One is that this call is built on principle, because I like the quote that by John Wooden that says, "Things work out best for those who make the best of things work." Let me say that again. Things work out best for those who make the best of things. Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work. So the things here, you're going to have to work. That is nugget number one. Okay. And then nugget number two, before I even go into the whole balancing things and what you need to know, is that the difference between your job and the business is that your job requires you to work within a system. So let's say you're employed by a company. By the time you come in, there is department, there is the marketing department, there is a human resource department, there is a client experience department, there's an operations department, and then you're put in that department. What you're doing is that they are putting you within a system that has already been designed by an entrepreneur, and you're advancing part of that system to make the entire system work. That is a job. Okay, so your job requires you to work within a system, while a business requires you to create a system. Even if it's as simple as selling tomatoes, creating a system means that you know where you're going to buy the tomatoes, how much you're going to buy them, where you're going to sell them, which licenses you need to get to sell those tomatoes, how you're going to have a reorder value, reorder schedule. When do I get in the tomatoes? How much money am I going to make off that? Okay, so it is important for you to understand that your job requires you to work within a system, while a business requires you to build a system or reinvent one. Okay, I can see more people on the call. Welcome Remin, welcome Patty. Okay, the other nugget I want to share before I get into balancing, optimizing your side hustle while you excel on your job, the last nugget I want to share is that if you're struggling on your job, and you start a business, you're going to struggle. There are just no two ways out. You know, if you're struggling in one and you get to another, you're going to struggle, because you have to failure does not breed success. No, success breeds success. So if your job is not working very well and you think that the outlet is to start a side hustle, you're already lost before you begin. And I'm going to qualify that as I start to explain the strategies to make your side hustle and business work. Okay, so this might be the shortest Twitter space, but it's going to be impactful. So, strategies to make your side hustle and business work. Number one, I'll share 10 of these, and I'll give you a bonus one if you stay up to the end. One is you have to learn to self-motivate. Okay, no one is going to come and motivate you. If you're having a business and you're having a job at the same time, that stuff takes a lot of motivation, but no one is going to come and motivate you. You have to learn to self-motivate. If you're on the last call, I remember giving a story where I had a side hustle, and I used to deal in hides and skin. So what would happen is that I would wake up at around okay, let me start from the time I would leave work. So I leave work at around 5 p.m. East African time. I head to the stores where the hides are kept, and while there, I supervise the guys, make sure everything is okay. I stay at those stores until midnight. At midnight, I get to I go home, take a shower, eat something, and sleep. Now, when I sleep, I wake up at around 3 because they pick me in the truck to go and deliver the hides 100 kilometers out of the city. I get in that truck. We leave at 3. We are there. We do what we have to do. Come back to Kampala. I'm in Kampala by 6. I'm in office by 6:30. I take a nap at 8 a.m. I'm already working. Okay. So, and who motivated me to do that? I had to self-motivate. So, if you're going to make these two things work, you have to learn to self-motivate. What really drives you to start the two? Okay. Because if you're waiting on people, they're not going to come. So, strategy number 1, self-motivate. Strategy number 2 on how to optimize your side hustle while you excel at your job is learn how to raise money or save for your side hustle. Okay, and here's why. If let me just give an example. Let's say you're earning $100. Let's say you're earning $100, which is around 350,000 Uganda shillings. Okay, and you need to start a small business that is going to require you to save around $200. Okay, which is around 700,000. Okay, so you're going to do that maybe over 6 months. Now, here is the trap that most job holders go through. People come and they excite you and they say, you know what, let's start this business. You see what I'm doing? I started a farm. I started a kiosk, and you know what? Those mobile money kiosks, you can just download an app and track the whole thing, so you can be at work. They sell it to you like it is so easy. Okay, and then they tell you, okay, you're going to need about $800 or $2 million to start the business. And guess what? You earn $100, which is 350,000. You borrow money to start this kiosk. You don't know how the kiosk works. Okay, and so you started out on debt to service something that you don't know. Okay, and you're never going to make it work. So, second strategy is learn to save or learn how to raise money. Yeah. Let me give you an example. I needed about 20 million when I was starting a hides and skins business when I had a job, and true to form, I learned how to raise money. Okay, so there are so many ways to raise money. You can either bootstrap, but for you to have sanity, because this business is going to take long. Okay, as you have your job, your side business is going to take long. So you need to learn how to bootstrap. Okay, I can show you just how to bootstrap on the next call, but for this purpose, strategy number 1, learn how to self-motivate. Strategy number 2, save and or learn how to raise money. Don't ever get debt to start a side hustle. That is murder. And then strategy number 3 on how to optimize your side hustle and work and job is now, before I even go into strategy number 3, I want, if you realize I'm going more on the business side because I will come to the job side. Okay, strategy number 3 is learn how to sell, and I don't mean just learning how to sell on the job, but just learn how to sell even in your business. Okay, because when you've just started a side hustle, you don't have the money to hire a salesperson, you don't have the money to hire an accountant, and so you have to be very, 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 very good at selling. Okay, and what is the number one sign of that someone is good at selling? Okay, if you ever sit down with someone and they tell you all about their business, or I'm starting this art business and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and that person never asks you any questions, then they don't know how to sell. Learning how to sell is a skill, because everything that we do is because of sales. So if you're going to be very good at balancing these two and optimizing them, you have to learn how to sell. Now, the question you might ask is, if I'm in the human resource department, what does selling have to do with me being on the job while I have my side hustle? Hey, look, when I had my job, I used to go to my boss and I would sell them the fact that sometimes I did not have to work over the weekend, but I would have to work longer hours so that I would use the weekends to concentrate on my side hustle. Or I would sell them the fact that I would come in early, let's say at 6, and leave at 4:30. That is all selling. So you have to learn to sell and ask if I have a side hustle, I go to my boss and say, hey, look, is it okay for me to come in at 6 and leave at 4:30? You're selling. So you have to learn how to sell. Now, that is first principle selling, but it has to go deeper. Okay. So those are 3 strategies I've shared that can make you succeed. And then number 4, you have to get organized. There are no two ways about it. Okay. Just imagine if you have a side hustle and you have a business, it's like having 2 kids. Today my wife and I have twins, and I'll tell you, having twins is like having a business and a side hustle. I might get slaughtered after this, but it's okay. So please learn to get organized, because like I explained in strategy 1, you discover that you have to plan your time, you have to plan your resources. There's a saying that proper prior planning prevents pitifully poor performance. Proper prior planning prevents pitifully poor performance. You have to get organized. You cannot be effective at those 2 if you're not organized. Okay, either keep a journal, make sure that there's an app called Trello. It's amazing when it comes to project management. You can download it and try it. It will help you to self-organize, because it reminds you that this task is long overdue. You've assigned this to this person, you've done this, you've done that. Okay, so those are 4 strategies that I've shared so far. And then strategy number 5 to help you succeed at your side hustle and job is find ways to work 80 hours a week with minimal burnout. Oh, what are you talking about? Okay, an average person works about 40 hours a week. That is 8 hours a day. Okay, yeah, 8 hours a day, that's around 40 hours a week. Now, when you have a side hustle, like I just explained, you have to, for starters, for the first 6 months or 1 year, you may have to work 80 hours a week. And how can you work 80 hours a week without experiencing burnout? You have to learn the aspects of great work ethic, okay? Because you don't have, like I said, you don't have money to hire people, okay? But you need these 2 things to work. So what are the practical ways of working 80 hours a week without actually experiencing burnout? The first is to make sure that you take out some time and exercise. Make sure that you're pumped in the morning. Make sure that you have a morning routine. You meditate. Make sure that you're very good at delegation and all these other things. Okay, and the sixth strategy that can help you to optimize the side hustle and your job is learn to research. Okay, most people, if you have a degree or you have a diploma, you did some form of research. But what does research mean? I do a lot of research, and I'll give you a simple formula. Okay, so I ask myself, what is the output? What do I want to find out? Okay, I want to find out whether starting an art business in Kampala is profitable. That is the output. Okay, what are my sources? I'm going to look at galleries, I'm going to look at bloggers, I'm going to look at influencers, I'm going to study YouTube, and okay, what else? I'm going to study journals, I'm going to look at newspapers. Okay, and then what else am I going to look at? I'm going to look at opposing views. It's very important to find out. Just now, if I'm finding out how art works in Kampala and whether I can create a profitable art business, I have to find out the people, the naysayers that are saying, you know what, no, you cannot start an art business in Kampala, and find out what they are saying, because in what they are saying, there might be some truth that might help you either disrupt or do otherwise. So you find out what the output is, okay, and then find your sources. They better be trusted sources, and always find opposing views, and then talk to trusted people. Okay, so I'll talk to an artist and say, you know what, I'm looking at starting an art business. What do you think? This is what I've found out. And then at the end, you get to make your own decisions. Okay, and that is the same for if you're taking on a job. It's very important for you to find out what you actually want out of that job, because I've seen this time and again. Someone gets a job because they think they just need a job, and then when they get there, of course they're given the money, and then they discover, no, I actually needed something more, but they don't know what that something is. And then the employer has a burden of trying to help the employee find what they are looking for. And now, if this kind of person goes ahead and starts a business, they will still struggle to find their place because they don't know what took them there in the first place. Yeah, I think in one of the Twitter spaces, I explained the 6 reasons why people work, but we don't have time to go there. But it's very important for you to research that job. How is this company? What do they do? Okay, what are the opposing people saying? Talk to trusted people before you join the job, because when you start that job, you're going to have, because it's your bread and butter, you're going to have to give it 100%. Then leave the job, go to your side business over the weekend or in the evening, and still give it 100%. So without purpose, you're going to struggle. I can guarantee you that. So learning to research and knowing exactly what took you there and what you need to do and what you need to accomplish is very important. So I've shared 6 strategies so far that can make you succeed. Number 1, learn to self-motivate. Number 2, save or learn how to raise money. And number 3, learn how to sell. Number 4, get organized. Number 5, find ways to work 80 hours a week without experiencing burnout. And number 6, learn how to research. And number 7 is keep small promises. What do you mean, Sudesh, by keeping small promises? Now, small promises like, you say you expected at your work at 8 a.m. You say, I'm going to show up at 7:30. Keep that promise to yourself, okay? Or you make a promise to a customer that over the weekend I'll be delivering your cake at 1 p.m. at your wedding. Show up at midday, okay? Keep those small promises, because that is where integrity comes in. If you do not have personal integrity, if you do not keep those small promises to yourself, you're not going to succeed at the job or at the business. So again, these things are so simple, but they are pivotal. This is what makes people succeed at both of those things. And then number 8, learn to build relationships. It's all about relationships. I shudder when maybe someone in a business treats their employees in such a way that is so bad, and they still expect to build that business. No, it's not going to work. The same thing at work. How do you treat people at work? Because at the end of the day, it's the relationships that you create that will get you out of there. It is the conversations that those people have that will get you out of there. Because, I speak from experience, and I can tell you that I think 80% of our business comes because we have created relationships, and those people will have conversations about us that we did not ask for, and then we end up getting the business. Okay, and this is so basic that you don't need to be told, but I need to remind you. Okay, so that is another strategy. Just know that whether you succeeding at the job and succeeding at the business is about creating relationships. And this is number 8, number 9. Okay, is whatever you're desiring, learn to submit yourself under the person that you want to learn from. If you want to become a great journalist, okay, find a place or a workplace that has those great journalists, submit under them and learn from them. And just because you have a job doesn't mean that you're working under that person. No, working under that person means that you go to them. I remember when my last job, I used to go to my boss and I would ask them, what are you reading? Okay, I was so interested in what they were reading, because when you know what someone is reading and you know what they are feeding themselves on, then you can trace their success. So I would pick up on everything that they were reading, and then I would ask them to give me feedback. I would go to them. You don't have to wait for a performance appraisal at the end of the month. Just ask for a minute and walk in and say, hey, how do you think I'm doing? Can you give me some honest feedback? Where do you think I'm struggling? How do you think I go about this? I need your help on this. I don't understand this. Okay, you need to do that not only for your work, but you also need to do that for your business. If you're looking at starting a restaurant and putting up a restaurant with a couple of partners, and it's going to operate on the side, why are you investing $5,000 into something before you learn it? Okay, so take time. And for me, I don't mind taking shifts and learning. Maybe the thing that you need to do before you even start a restaurant, when you leave your job in the evening, go and volunteer at a restaurant and take shifts working at that restaurant for about 3 or 4 hours. You will learn more from that than just reading books. Yes, books are nice and you need to read the books, but you need to put yourself in the experience so that you learn that particular craft. So learn to submit yourself under who and or whatever you want to learn. I hope you're loving this, and if you want to tweet, please feel free. You can tweet or share, ask your questions. I'll be answering them in about 5 minutes as we finish up. Okay, and then I think the second, this is number 10. The strategy that you can use to excel at both your job and or your job and your side hustle is learn to build a tribe. And by a tribe, the way you know your tribe is you have your tribe within your cell phone. You have their numbers there on WhatsApp. You see what they are sharing. You see what they are eating. You know what their children did yesterday. You know the teams their children support. Today I was on a call with one of our clients, and I remember I saw on her timeline on WhatsApp, the son supports Arsenal. And when we were starting the call, I said, hey, how are you? How is your son that supports Arsenal like me? I hope he's having a great time. And we laughed about it and we started. Okay, so you get to know what the people in your tribe are doing. And why is this important? I had when no one knew me in this business coaching arena, what I used to do is I used to write a blog, articles and what, and I still do that this on a daily. And I wrote a blog. I would just write about anything that I know that can add value. And then one time, a New Vision journalist picks up on it, sends me an inbox, okay, and runs and they do a story about me, one page in New Vision, not paid for, okay, and that went viral, okay. So you just imagine, someone is looking for you because the story is intriguing. They publish it, and I think the paper at the time was selling about 30,000 copies. So just imagine 30,000 people get to know about you just because you're adding value. It's very important for you to add value, and that's how you build a tribe. So from that exposure, then people started recognizing me as a thought leader, and they started hiring me, and they started respecting me. Why? Because I knew my tribe, and I was very committed to the tribe, and I was sharing things of value. Just share a tweet, okay? Some of you just share memes. Memes will make people laugh, but they're not going to add so much value. So it's important that you share value, okay? And then I hope you're learning something. Just feel free to tweet hashtag side hustle, hashtag job, okay? And then the bonus strategy for you to optimize your side hustle while you excel at your job is learn to leverage. Okay, learn to leverage everything that I've just talked about. The relationships. You don't have. I like. I think it was Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is one of the richest guys in the world, and they were asking him. Why, Warren Buffett, why don't you buy shares in Nike? He said, you know what? I don't understand how Nike works. I don't understand the business of shoes. But the businesses that I invest in, I know one thing. I know that when I look at those businesses, I can leverage certain things. Okay. So this gentleman has shares in, he has bought Coca-Cola. He has bought different companies, about 300 companies. And he talks about leverage, and he says, I like what he says. He says that you do not have to do extraordinary things to become extraordinary. You can do ordinary things and still become extraordinary or exceptional. Okay, you just have to know how to leverage. Okay, if and some of the things that you can leverage is your time. How can you leverage your time? By making sure that you do more in a short amount of time. Okay, how can I get a proposal written in a short time? I have to find a process. I have to benchmark people that are doing it very well. Or alternatively, I may just have to download templates and just look through them, edit this, do that, do this, so that I do more with less. So you can leverage your time, leverage the relationships. Don't just talk about Arsenal, Man U, what? No, learn to have conversations that add value to other people. Okay, and learn to leverage the money that you have. Yeah. Today I think why in the car, and we're talking about leveraging. On one trip, let's say you're driving 300 kilometers on that road. How many things can you experience? Yes, you've spent money on fuel, but how many things can you experience while on the road? Okay, can you buy cheaper food for your family? You're leveraging the journey. Can you use the journey to take some photographs? If you're a photographer, you're leveraging the journey. Can you use that journey to visit a relative that you've wanted to see? You're leveraging time and the journey. Okay, so learn to leverage. Yeah. So I've shared 10 strategies and one bonus one on how to make your side hustle and business work. I will go through them and then we'll get to the questions. 1 is learn to self-motivate. Number 2, save and learn how to raise money. Number 3, learn how to sell. Number 4, get organized. that is, proper prior planning prevents beautifully poor performance. And then find ways to work 80 hours a week without experiencing burnout. Learn to research. That is the next one. Then submit yourself under the person or the thing that you want to learn. Okay. And serve and learn from that. And then learn to build a tribe, build relationships, keep small promises, and leverage. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end. We'll invite any questions right now. If you have any questions, I'll take any questions. Let me see. Okay. Let me see if there's any question. Okay. Remin Kads is saying, please remind us about the app. Okay. I talked about the application that can help you to self-organize, and it's called Trello. T for Tanzania, R for reading, E for England, L for Luanda, and another L for Lusaka, and O for Omega. Trello. Okay, it's called Trello. Thanks, Remin, for asking that. Let me see any other questions. Okay, Chance Michael, how are you, my friend? You're saying hi, Sudesh. It's good to be here. Nice to have you, man. Nice to have you. Thanks for being here. Okay. Any other questions? No, looks like we don't have any questions. So I think with that said, I'll sign off here. Thanks so much for being on the call. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone that has been here. Olivia, nice to have you. Patty, Remin, as always, thanks for being here. Hills, nice to have you. Daniel, Vernon, Sebastian, Rita, Elvis, Reverend Joa, baby of what? And then the most important person that has been on this call is you, of course, you. All right. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Adios, muchachos. Bye-bye.